Good morning, Morai V'Rabotai. Bez Hashem Mincha is going to be 6:45. Please be on time. Okay, we're dealing with a lot of complicated halachot, but I want everybody to get the foundation very clearly. So we're going to review a little bit and then continue a little bit on, and we'll do that for a few days. When we mentioned yesterday that a field that is owned by a Jew and he wants to hire goyim to work the field, which means from start to finish, to plant, to sow, to plant, to harvest, and to do everything that's necessary. Is this something that is permitted to be done, assuming that the goy now wants to work on his own, not that the Jew told him, on Shabbat? So we said that there's really three categories. There's something called arisut, which is essentially a sharecropper, where the goy, the terms are that the goy himself gains from every dollar that is profited. So either he goes ahead and he, let's say there was $1,000 worth of produce, either he takes 25% of the produce or he takes 25% of the profits of the produce. He takes whatever percentage, he's a stake in it. That's called arisut, which is sharecropping. Technically speaking, there should be zero violation in sharecropping because the goy is working for himself, for his profits. Does the Jew benefits? The Jew benefits, but there's no isul for the Jew to benefit from a goy, from what a goy does for himself. So the goy would be able to work the field, and he could have worked on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He decided that it's more convenient for him to harvest the field on Shabbat. Even though the field belongs to the Jew, this is mutar. The Gemara says it's perfectly allowed. A similar case that would be allowed is if the goy simply takes all the profits and he says, I'm going to pay you a set amount a year, let's say. I'll pay you for this year, this crop year, I'm going to pay you set amount, $100,000, and whatever profit comes in for this crop, I get to keep. That's a form of renting. It's a sort of a renting of the property. The goy is renting it from the Jew. The Gemara says there's no problem in that. There's no question on the halachic level. The goy is not your messenger. In no sense is he your messenger. And also there's no marit ayin, because what are people going to assume? The normal way for a field is through sharecropping. So therefore they'll say, okay, so he's doing it in a fine way, in a legitimate way. There's no problem whatsoever in both the sharecropping of splitting the profits and also the rental. The one case that is a problem with the field is a case where you're hiring the goy to work for you, let's say on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. You say, I'm going to give you a salary, you work the whole week, let's just take that example, or even just the whole day or the whole week. You work 7 days of the week and I'm going to pay you for each day this and this amount. That would be asul. That's what the Gemara calls schir yom. It's very serious. It's considered a serious violation of halacha because there the goy is working on Shabbat to get paid by you on Shabbat, which means you essentially sent him as your messenger to work on your behalf. And therefore that is called shelichut mamash, and sechir yom is totally prohibited. Now when it comes to a mirchatz, this is all in terms of a field. That's kind of what we spoke about yesterday. When it comes to a mirchatz, is a bathhouse, the principles are the same, except there's one difference, which is marit ayin. What are the principles? Same thing. Let's say there's a bathhouse and you want the goy to run your bathhouse. So the goy has to do a lot of different melachot. He has to warm up water. He has to do different things. He is the one running the show. So now if you arrange it that you'll get 20% of the profits. So technically speaking, he's not your shaliach. He's working on behalf of himself. The more he works, the harder he works, the more money he will make. There's no daily salary. So if he makes $100,000 and you'll get 10%, he'll get $10,000 out of that money. If he makes $200,000, he'll get $20,000. So he's not called your shaliach. He's working hard to make more money for himself. And therefore, on a technical level, there's no isul on the technical level. And the same thing is true if he rents from you the whole property and he gets to keep all the profits. He's certainly working for himself. The only time we would say it would be asul from the deen, from the halacha, is if he's salaried. If he's taking a daily salary, a weekly salary, every single day he works, those profits are totally the Jews, and he's only getting whatever set amount that he was told and that was agreed upon beforehand. Whether it's $100 a day, $1,000, doesn't make a difference, but the work that he's doing is for the Jew. The real difference is, okay, so let's say in the first two cases where he's taking 10% of the profits or he's renting, there by a merchatz, the Chachamim said it's still asur, even though on a technical level, meikar adin, he's not your shaliach, he's not your messenger, it's still going to be asur because there's mar'it ayin. What's the mar'it ayin? It's different from a field. A field is usually arranged through sharecropping, which is permitted. However, a merchatz, a bathhouse is not usually arranged through sharecropping. It's usually arranged through sachir yom, where you hire workers to work your bathhouse, where you hire this employee and that employee, and you pay him $100 and you pay him $100 a day to work. So once it's normally done b'schir yom, even if you do it in a way that's mutar, which is arisut, where you're profiting from, he's gaining in the profits, or he's renting from you, those are permissible ways. But because there's a mar'it ayin, people won't know the arrangement. They'll think, oh, he must have hired workers. Oh, wow, he's violating Shabbat. Mar'it ayin. So the Chachamim say in a bathhouse, there's an additional prohibition of mar'it ayin because the normal way to arrange it is a way that's prohibited. And therefore, even if you arrange it in a permissible way, mar'it ayin. However, in a field, there is no mar'it ayin, so as long as you arranged it in a permissible way, there's no problem, whether it was the rental way that the goy rented or he took a share in the profits, like sharecropping. Both of those are going to be allowed because the status quo is that it was done in the normal arrangement was one that was of heter. So this distinction is very important to understand the basis of all of the modern day halachot and how they end up. And we're going to get a little bit more into detail about the modern day and how this translates into